We just looked at an example of a few different searches using our library catalog. But what if you use the library catalog and you're just not having a lot of luck finding what you need? What if there just don't seem to be a lot of resources in our library, at least books about your topic? So in this lesson, I want to show you a different type of library catalog, which is called WorldCat. So as the name implies, Healy Library Catalog searches for items owned by Healy Library, whereas WorldCat actually searches other libraries' catalogs for items that you can locate in libraries literally across the world. So it becomes this huge collective catalog and a place that you can access resources that aren't owned by Healy Library. So just like the library catalog, we have two access points for WorldCat. One of them is an embedded search box right in the middle of the library homepage, and the other is a link that says WorldCat at UMass Boston in our main navigation menu. So both of those links will take you to the same place. And again, I can come into this search box and I can just type my keywords in. So in this case, I'm still looking for graduate student socialization. So I'm typing my keywords in, I'm clicking search. So this is a very basic keyword search. So when we searched the library catalog with this search, we got 7 results. In WorldCat, we have almost 4,000. So that gives you an idea of kind of the scope of this catalog. One thing that I just want to point out right off the top though, you'll notice that a lot of these results are listed as articles. So WorldCat will try to pull in some research articles from our databases, and this can be a convenient way to access these articles, but at the same time, WorldCat is not comprehensive in our coverage, and sometimes they have difficulty actually linking you from WorldCat directly into our databases. And so for these reasons, we actually recommend not using WorldCat to find articles, just using it to find books. So you're going to have better luck and more control once we go into the databases for finding actual articles, just because you don't have comprehensive coverage in WorldCat for articles. So in the searches that I show you, I'm going to be limiting those searches just to books. And then when we go into the databases in later lessons, then we'll start looking for some articles. So I can click on book, and that limits my results down to 700, so that's a little bit more manageable. But again, this is just a simple keyword search. And so I scroll through some of these results. I'm not necessarily seeing things that are super relevant. I see the 3 Magic Letters book, which is the same book we found in our library catalog. So this is a chance to say, okay, not that your search is bad, or not that your topic is bad, but maybe we need to try a different strategy here. So I'm going to scroll up to the top and click on the advanced search. And I'm going to show you how to use some of the fields in WorldCat too. So searching as a keyword just means I'm looking for that word to appear in significant places somewhere in the record. It might appear in the title, it might appear in the description, it might appear in the table of contents, it might appear as a subject term. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put graduate students in quotation marks. And what that does is that searches those 2 words as an exact phrase, and it keeps me from getting maybe graduate in one part of the record and students in another part of the record. So anytime you have multiple words that need to stay together, you can use quotation marks to search for an exact phrase. And then I'll also use this keyword menu to add my socialization search term. And what I'm doing here is kind of a preview of the Boolean searching that we'll talk about in a little bit, but I'm essentially saying I want items that contain graduate students as an exact phrase and that contain the keyword socialization. And I'm going to come down here and use the format menu to limit my search just to books, like I mentioned. So now we went from close to 700 books to just under 300. So we're looking at a different, more refined set of results. And I'm again seeing that 3 Magic Letters, but I'm also seeing something that might help me. Result number 9 here, which is called Learning the Literary Practice, or the Literacy Practices of Graduate School. So I might click on this title, and again, I'm looking at this item's record, which is going to tell me more information about the book. In WorldCat, it's also going to tell me who has this book, and it's going to give me options to access this book. So in this case, I don't see that this book is listed as being owned by UMass Boston Library, but it is owned by the Boston Library Consortium. So I just wanted to mention that the Boston Library Consortium is composed of academic libraries in the Boston area. It's a resource sharing network, and it enables for example, students at UMass Boston to go to another Boston Library Consortium library and use their resources. And it allows for fast sharing between those libraries as well. So if I were interested in this book, I could click the Request Item button, this blue button right here, and I would be taken to a menu to request that item from another library. If I didn't see the Boston Library Consortium, I would still see something that said WorldCat, and I would see that blue button, which would prompt me to fill out a form and request that item from another library. So interlibrary loan is free, it's fast, we can generally get you books delivered in less than a week, and there's no limit on how much you can do it. So this can be a really powerful tool for doing your research, especially if there are other libraries who have specialized collections around your research area. The other thing I want to point out about the record, so in addition to having the description, the table of contents, we also have, again, those subject terms that we were talking about in the library catalog. So this is just an example of how there will be similar search strategies and similar structures across different search interfaces. So once you start to learn these concepts, it can become easy to translate them into different search engines and different interfaces. So I see a subject term here for graduate students socialization. And so if I click on that, I've just run a completely different search now for items tagged with the subject graduate students socialization. And like I said, I'm going to limit my search to books. And you want to be careful looking at these results because you'll notice some of them are actually books. Some of them are, like you can see with results 3 and 4, actually theses and dissertations. So you're going to turn up a lot of different content in this database or in this catalog. But the main thing to remember is different searches bring you different sets of results. And so that's just one thing that you want to be careful about, is trying a lot of different searches and thinking about different strategies that can help you uncover different sets of results and help you uncover unexpected information and start to find things that you wouldn't have even thought to search for.